So here's the update. Today's kind of my stomach's been a little upset. Detoxing, has some things going on with, moving stuff out of the house, clearing, la, 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 la. This is the Kate reminder call. Working on staying in that higher frequency of what I'm really all about, what I care to be all about, and where I'm headed, which is out, out, out. And I was just going around the house, kind of puttering and muttering and saying, okay, what's the next step? What's my divine? Where am I headed? Where am I fine? And what do I need to do to be in line with my divine so that I feel actually more fine? And I have not watched Labyrinth for years. I saw it in 1986 when I went to college, and I saw it with in my sophomore year. Yep, the second year. So it was made in 1986, and I saw it in 1987 for the first time with two friends that I had that were roommates right next door to me. And I remembered a word from that said something about, "Oh no, sir, I'm merely a worm," and that became a tagline between us three friends, especially the one young lady that we were very friendly. We enjoyed each other's company. Unfortunately, did not remain friends after college, but. I've been working with that image of the other day with the worm becoming the caterpillar, and have seen since then, was outside talking with a neighbor and, doing my bye-byes and farewells and closing out, Camp Hill. So a red butterfly, beautiful, beautiful, like a sapphire color. No? Is that a sapphire? This ruby, sorry. Sapphire is my personal color, and emerald is my birthstone. However, it was a ruby red butterfly that I've never seen that little bugger before, and not one time in this neighborhood have I ever seen it. And that was moments after hawk. Not one word, not one little peep came out of her mouth. It was just circling overhead, beautifully gliding. And the person I was talking to, I couldn't take my eyes off of it, and I said, "Oh, that's a hawk," and he was just kind of like, whatever. And it was so ironic because he was not fascinated at all, not even the slightest bit enthralled. And I knew, oh yeah, thank you. I'm in the holy presence of Mother Nature. And the hawk was there, beautiful cream colored chest. And I'm still having some ID issues with this. Is that a red shouldered hawk? Is that a Cooper's hawk? Is that, it's okay. It wondered if maybe it might be a peregrine falcon also, but it doesn't matter. Hawks birds, period, are very, very important and crucial for me, especially as a Gemini, the messenger, air. So soaring, gliding, and then red butterfly, and shortly thereafter, one dragonfly. So what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sight. And today, I'm muttering and puttering, all right, and doing my positivity, get my frequency up and off the floor, man. Feeling a little bit dumpy, detoxing, letting go, saying bye-bye, putting in the trash, gotta go, and let go of some stuff this morning that, cool, great that other people are gonna get to use that and I can repurpose it. However, it was saying goodbye to, goodbye old friend, and probably never pick you up again. However, it's good because the people that it moved on to, they're going to love it, and they already do. So as I was muttering and puttering around the house and going, oh, my stomach's kind of upset, so how can I make this work for me? I was inside, and the insignificant beetle was two of them. I didn't know there were two. There was just one. And I went to, and I was kind of just get along. And I realized, oh my God, if I'm going to spend the time to get grandmother spider up off the floor, or juvenile spider that's giving me a little bit of tood, I need to not do that. What's the best way? And a lot of these insects just kind of creep me out. I'm not real, into the idea of communing with nature in terms of insects. I have not ever, been terribly close with the insect world. Have a great deal of respect, even more so now. However, this little June bug was a brown one first, little June bug, and I said, oh, okay, I need to not be scooting you out like that, just kind of irreverently. That clean up that protocol there, Kate, immediately, because no, just find out, because there's a reason. As much as there would be a reason that Spider would take up camp and have something to say, perhaps Beetle does too. And so I worked with it within my own construct of, okay, are you going to get on my finger? And it had the ability to fly away. And as soon as it figured out, and I figured out that, okay, get on my finger, I was able to pick it up. It took a few minutes. I mean, we worked through it and took it outside, and would you not know, I closed the door and turned around, and there was another one right there. And it was a dung beetle. I don't really know the difference between the beetles, except that the June beetle and the dung beetle, in this instance, I'm pretty sure they're different in species also. However, they came up as two separate interpretations, absolutely, because this was black, and I believe it's a dung beetle. And there's a whole bunch of history about the scarab and Egyptian, mythology, etc. And I worked with that one too, because I was just kind of like, oh God, another one. I don't really like insects. And so I worked with that one too, and it also did not fly away, and it was happy, to go right outside. And I looked it up, and okay, making the best out of a dung pile, that floods and rain and poo make you're a little egg, and you hatch up out of that, little beetle. I have to have a lot of respect for that and say thank you, because what a message of birth and regeneration. If that's not, a perfect example. And it has the ability to fly. I'm just now filming that in, that winged creatures are really significant to me. They have a lot of power. As a Gemini with, messenger air, etc., that's really a lot of what I'm about. I like communication, and I like clear communication. And the best clear communication I can find is to go with my divine and listen to Mother Nature speak to me, because usually humans confuse me a lot. They have in the past. So anyhow, I got through that experience, and I started feeling that detox of, letting go of some more stuff. Yeah, and well, what are you going to do? You're going to power down into the crappy feelings, or, keep affirming, keep saying, keep knowing, keep going, and keep growing their faith, your faith. Okay, I am blah, 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 blah. And I know what I'm doing. I know what to do. I know where to go. I know what to say. I know how to play. I know how to work. I can do it all. Show me how. And I was thinking, all of a sudden, I think I want to watch Labyrinth. I do. I didn't know that. And I stopped watching it. It hasn't been playing, but let's see, 55 seconds from the very beginning. And so the credits are just, David Bowie's name might have just come by, and that's it. And it's already started with an owl. It's already started with flighted creatures. And I don't remember, as I said, I've watched it 1 or 2 times with my children when they were growing up. However, I really don't remember it a whole lot. I just remember oh no sir, I'm merely a worm, I'm just a worm. And I thought that was hilarious. My friend and I, we joked about that for the entire time that I was in college with her, and I haven't talked to her since. However, what an amazing and beautiful image, considering, I just did the video on metamorphosis and how the worm or the caterpillar, it's all about perception, right? And this one starts. And I've thought about watching this before. It's come up when I was kind of poking around and, in the last couple of years, and I never felt inclined to watch it. And so anytime I'm doubting myself and wondering, am I hearing spirit correctly? Am I hearing my divine work being worked through me? Am I hearing my divinity speak to me, or am I just making stuff up? Because I want to be working in alignment on my refinement, so that I'm consistently staying very true to my word, true to my honor, true to my code, true to everything that I'm about, and not just be bullshitting myself about, what I am doing, or get lost in what I'm not doing, what I should be doing. So how can I use that? I'm detoxing or whatever, and start powering down on those affirmations. I am strong. I am capable. I am able to handle this. And I am physically well. And I am releasing toxic hell. It's not my life anymore. I am choosing life abundantly. Thank you. And happy to turn dung into little eggs that are beetles that have the ability to fly, stay very grounded, and yet also can fly. It's amazing. So now it's 10 minutes and I'm going to watch this movie that David Bowie, and I have his Starman journal, Starman calendar, the artwork. I believe the artist is not David Bowie himself, and I don't know the artist's name, but Starman was a powerful imagery for me when I got that first calendar. The artwork is absolutely phenomenal. It's gorgeous, and really started to help me change my understanding of myself even more through the imagery and the colors. I work a lot with colors and the vibe of what they can bring to me, color therapy, if you will, and looking for all those alternative means, all of those alternative out there kind of things that come to me. And then when I go to an oracle reader, and they're saying, you're finding alternate ways. Yep, there's the confirmation. So how can I turn my back on divinity and say, I don't know about that? And you better stop questioning and get on into what's the statement I need to be making is, I am clear. I am clear. I can hear. And I am fine. I am waiting on divine. Nope, divine's waiting on me to catch up. Boop, get up to speed. And here you go. This is what you need. All of a sudden, I'm ordering Labyrinth. And a few minutes ago, I was kind of tucking myself up going, yeah, I just took the headache medicine and oh God, I can't do this, releasing all the pain, etc. because it jumps up and gets in my face. Whenever it's overwhelming, it can feel pretty overwhelming. And it helps to have Spirit come in with a gentle, kind reminder to say, oh yes, well, there's a different way that we can be doing it. Maybe want to try that. Want to try that? Want to try that? And I love those kind reminds because they're not a brutal, smack in my face or anything. My team does not need to do that to me. I've asked for it. Can we take out brutality? And the answer was, well, yeah. Humans are the ones that do that brutality thing. We don't need to. Is going to feel brutal if you're showing up in a brutality mentality. So it's okay if you ask for, the kinder mind. And I totally dug it, man. I totally dug it. And I don't feel all that shame and that blame and that recrimination of what I should be doing. It isn't that. I listen very carefully and intuitively and stay pretty tuned into that and say, wherever I may be misstepping, I trust divinity is showing to me immediately where to go, what to know, and what to blow away from me and keep it out of my divinity understanding. And anything that's not in alignment with my refinement, gotta go. And I don't think about it. I dismiss it. It's not an easy process necessarily. However, it's gotten even easier when I start feeling that queasy, disgusting feeling and I think I'm going to throw up. I feel the detox of toxic relationships, decisions, outcomes, etc. Letting it go without the label and without attachment. That's been one of the most beautiful things this week is to work with. I am unattached. I release and let go of every single thing and live my life without attachment because that's what I have to do. I cannot be riveted on the answer being the way that I affirm it to be. Darn it. It's going to be this way because I put it out there and said, well, I want this. What I'm most concerned with and all about is I came here to do God's work. How's that look for me today? And I have my intentions and I place those out there and know that the caveat is, and I follow divine as it's unraveling in me and telling me how to find divinity and doing God's work, doing the work of the quantum field where I best serve, the love frequency. However that unravels for other people does not matter to me. My understanding is this is what's here. This is what's available. We love you. We cherish you. And we know that you human and you get scared and you're going to forget for a minute. So let's give you a kind rewind. No, a kind remind. Skip the rewind. Anywhere where I need to do any kind of a review, it's not for punishment's sake. It's to work out the puzzle on that one and then shut it down, close it out. Collapse that timeline, collapse that whole bad idea, the whole paradigm, whoosh, and it marches it out and off of me and anybody attached to that energy. So I'm loving the idea that I'm just bumbling around and going, okay, doesn't automatically get rid of the nausea or the, the detox doesn't automatically get rid of that necessarily. It hasn't. It did today. I mean, I still feel kind of queasy. However, it eased up considerably with, let me take charge of how I'm going to experience this anyway. And if I'm going to have the barfies and, feel as I'm detoxing, I'm going to be super grateful that I have the ability to be releasing it and letting it go. And that when this is through, I don't ever have to do that again because I'm not building my foundation. Dung beetle, I'm starting from poo, man. Starting from the very bottom. What am I going to do? Never build badly again. Something that's not in alignment with me and my refinement of my game is, there's no blame. It's just I'm in the wrong spot. That no, if I have to chase people down, not in my lane, they're not in my column with me. They're not in the same understanding. So I really need to stay more focused on Mother Nature as she's revealing herself to me about where I need to be best serving divinity and God's work as I understand it to be every second of the day. And when I need that kind, gentle remind, which was, you really need to get some rest. Your body is going through some major transformation, letting go of a lot of junk. So got to detox, you need to rest. However, I like working vacations myself. I'm always, keeping that mind busy. Said, you're doing great. Maybe you want to watch a movie. And I turned Last Man Standing on because I want to watch TV. And I said, I think I really want to take some time off. I'm getting the gist that I need to take some time off and rest. Cool. Well, I started watching Last Man Standing, and I have no problem with it. It's great. And the next thing I know, I said, I haven't seen Labyrinth in a long time. I think I'll do that. And that's just the flow of the nose saying, there you go. I'm going to fall asleep more than likely because my body's tired. It's achy, and it's no achy breaky with no end game or no end goal or no outcome. It has a very distinct outcome, a very distinct end game, and a very distinct goal of, I'm here to do God's work. I got to shed all that baggage and garbage in order to get out there and do it. So as I continue to motor on through it, Divinity said, Archangel Raphael gonna shoot some green magic into that shoulder and help you detox that pain and trauma and without having to think about it every single step of the way. Direct that energy very specifically the way that I'm guided to. And maybe do a little smudging action here and there, which I did. And turn on Labyrinth. Like, interesting. And when I went to go purchase it, do you want to have that in ultra high definition 4D or whatever it was, or shall you buy it in the whatever? And I thought, well, the TV is limited. Why would I buy that? And then it occurred to me, beep, there's the kind remind is, that's not the TV that's going with me. That's a TV that I'm just merely using until I leave, because there's very little other than clothing and, hygiene items and the critters and their, maintenance tools, etc., and their food, if there's any left over. And, that's it. That's all I plan to take with me. I have no expectation to take anything else. And the kind remind was just beautifully dropped in of, oh yeah, baby, you can lift your rating up there in your own mind of, you don't take this old baggage. It's not limited because you're in virtual world with Amazon Prime, that the next time you stream Labyrinth, it's going to be on a 4D or whatever the hell it is, because I don't know what it is. 4K UHD, ultra high definition. That's what it is. I'm looking right at it. So it was a nice, wonderful, beautiful reminder, way kinder, to go, yep, that's where you can slam shut a little paradigm in your head about where you're headed and what you're going to be doing. It's not that. You're not making do with an old TV. You're not making do with what's left over, the remnants of all of this. The dung beetle. It was a precious thing. They rolled it around until those eggs are magically laid in there. Make the best of that shit. And end up being a dung beetle. They don't bring the ball of bullshit behind them. They don't drag it with them. They say, that was really great. It nourished me. It fertilized my eggs and made babies, and I hatched up out of that. And Now look, there she goes. And those little dung beetles, they don't drag that ball of doo-doo with them. They might look back fondly and go, thanks, I'm super grateful for it. I don't know. Not sure what the thought process is of the beetle. However, they move in alignment with Mother Nature and what they're told to do. And then they teach me in my house within a 10-second span of one another that we're not insignificant, honey. Just because you don't like insects or you have a bias, a prejudice, etc., and you want to just move us along because you don't feel good. And I didn't. I mean, I still am not feeling my absolute best. However, got the message that even whenever I'm not feeling nice, even when I'm not feeling, particularly charitable, it doesn't take away the divinity of an insignificant little bug. I'm merely a worm. I'm merely a June bug, and I have a lot to say. You want to give me a minute and not just push me away? And I'm so glad that the kind reminder is there, that I don't have to be slapped upside my head and feel bad. I did apologize and say when I realized, ooh, I am so sorry to have dishonored the beetle that way, or any other creature. And where I have, I apologize. How do I make that right? That was the best part, is how do I make it right? Because I don't feel good about it. And then the kind reminder dropped in and say, is the beetle insignificant? Is the beetle, in fact, needing to be pushed out like that and out of your way? Or is that perhaps your perception that you don't like insects? Beetles have always been problematic for me, and they're annoying. In Florida, you got a million June bugs, and they're all in your food if you try to do a picnic and what have you. And they're some of the most revered bugs, insects worldwide in a lot of different cultures, and Egyptian particularly. The scarab is highly important. So it's all a matter of perception. So thank you, beetle, for teaching me and giving me divinity in a kind and loving way. And I'm glad I didn't squish it as I was trying to hurry it out the door. The first one, and not the second one either. I mean, I hadn't quite gotten it. I wasn't quite ready to let it go of, okay, fine, I'll take my time to get you and take you outside and then turn right around. Like, really? And the kind reminder is, you sure you want to do that? You sure you still want to? You did better with, picking it up fast, that you didn't scoot that little guy out at turbo speed. However, you sure you might want to do it that fast, or that, whatever, or maybe you want to really give this a minute. Now, I'm not going to be able to stop if I ever want to have a life that's not just completely watching for bugs everywhere and doing nothing but that. That isn't my particular passion. However, I got the very gentle, kinder mind, and further dropping in now with, you ask for the kinder mind, that's what you get, is that soft reminder of, hey, take your time there. And it's not that it gets meaner and meaner. It isn't. It's just that as I'm missing those cues, as I'm missing those affirmations of, yep, there's confirmation of what you're about, what we're about, and how we speak to you, how we communicate to you, that there's a gentle reminder. And I have to hear, if I'm not paying attention, if I'm hurrying, if I'm doing this, I can easily overlook it. Sometimes it's very loud and very much, I just know, whoop, got to do that. And that, it just didn't need to be, because I was already kind of powered down. It was my mounting frustration that might have gotten in the way. So it's a beautiful, beautiful way to, thought stop that, get into mental health, land where that's a good tool of thought stop that immediately. You maybe want to think about that. You maybe want to put the kibosh on that for just a second and pry open your mind. Okay. And I slowed down and I took it outside and was still feeling kind of annoyed, like, okay, that's fine. And I've worked it out. I mean, I'm not perfect. No one is. However, it's just beautifully illustrated just how kind divine is. And so now I have a movie to take in, whether I'm awake or not. I will be at some point to watch it consciously. I may be awake to watch this whole movie, for start to finish. Right now, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm going to be falling asleep, and it's meant to just kind of marinate in those beautiful David Bowie juices and, Henson puppetry. That, wow, Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog, the Muppet Show, it's very important to me, very significant to me, and I absolutely am fascinated by the whole artistry of that. And so what a beautiful way to be incubating this afternoon with kind of a stomach and more detox and drink more water, drink more tea, and just comfort me through that and know that I'm not alone in comforting me. I have teams and legions of those spirits and those entities that are here supporting me. And that's what I've asked for. Then they showed up. It'd be kind of rude to invite a bunch of party guests over and then not let them into my house. And I'm going to have a terrible party and then go, well, where is everybody? Well, you forgot to open up the gate there, Kate. Did you want to, not be late to that one? And I put the spin on it. They don't put a spin on it. There isn't any, you should. I get gentle reminders that are kind of tee-hee and funny. However, there's never, not one time since I really started to better understand that there's not a test as in you're going to be tested. I'm going to be tested on my skills of how I can handle different situations. That is going to be perceived as a test. It's no different than when I was a paramedic and had to, demonstrate proficiency in this particular protocol. Do you know this protocol? Do you know how to start it? Airway, breathing, circulation. If I'm standing there going, I'm not a paramedic, I don't do this, then then I don't know what I'm about. So a lot of things are pulling together and I still don't know how it's going to work out. And I don't need to, because Beetle came in and reminded me, and red butterfly, oh my gosh, reminded me, and lizard reminded me, and hawk reminded me, and dragonfly reminded me. Bunch of reminders. Very kind reminds from a lot of different sources, and human beings too, that, pleasant experiences with human beings today, that's just not been, real well known to me. I've been very isolated in my own little dung ball. So it's nice to come out and see, oh, wow. So not everybody is horrible? No, they're not. They're really not. And even those horrible people, the ones that are super horrible, they're not somewhere in their softest spot. It's just that I'm not the one necessarily to be teasing that out. I'm only one person, and I can't befriend every little, dung pile to look and see, are your larvae ready to hatch, or, are you already out of the dung pile and are ready to go as a fully formed beetle on with the show. And it's not that anybody isn't worthy. We're all worthy. It's just a matter of where are we going with this? What's your mission? What's your desire? I desire to do God's work. And if it meant that I was going to play in a dung pile for a while, okay, that's what I need to do. It doesn't matter whose face shows up. It doesn't matter whose face, whether it's from the past or whatever. Energetically, if I know, Source is telling me, hey, Spirit's telling me, my teams are telling me, that's where you need to go. And that's what you got to do. How do you know? Because those kind reminds. And I just intuitively and instinctively am knowing that's how we go. That's what we're doing. Cool. And it's an interesting process to work out with my mind and my own willingness sometimes to not just, yes, I know you're a divine creature. I know you're from God and all that other stuff, and just get out. I don't like beetles. I don't want to deal with you. So thank you, divinity, for not being cruel to me, even though I'm blind and have scales, clouding my vision sometimes. That thank you for the non-brutal way to remind me of how to get back to divinity and what really is some of the most beautiful, amazing experiences in the worst of times. And I have everything in the world to look forward to it just continuing to get better and better and better, because we've already gone through the upgrade. I mean, there's nothing that can happen except continue to get better, better, better. I don't have anything else. Oh, but I've had to do, because it's been pretty awful and it's just done nothing except accelerate into better and better and better and better and better. Because the dung pile, I went from being the little worm, the pupa, whatever it is, and, I'm hatched out in a lot of different areas where I've hatched out and I'm already the beetle. And in those places where I'm just in the poo, they're not taking me down the way that they used to, and I am super grateful for that. And anywhere that it is, I know my teams are here, and all I have to do is say, help me, my dear, help me, because I'm not sure I know where to go, and that's where I was. with, I feel kind of sick to my stomach. What can I do? Hammer down on what you can do about it, which is affirm that, yep, I'm in a poo pile. It feels not so great. I feel sick to my stomach. I gotta throw up and, go visit the bathroom for the 50th time in the last 20 minutes, and hammer down on what am I grateful for, because I'm releasing and letting go, and enjoying my bathroom experience. No, I can't say that because that would just be a lie. However, I can say I'm grateful I didn't die, not physically, and I'm grateful to release those old useless ways of me that no longer serve my divinity or how I go forward doing God's work. So thank you to the beetles, patient, and kind. Thank you to the rest of Mother Nature who's been here with the remind, and thank you to the animals that share space with me. I hope that we are able to keep our lives together. I still don't know how that will work out. However, I have to be willing to know that divinity knows better than I do. And the archangels surrounding me, along with the different realms, the different dimensions of other beings and what they're about, they have a bigger, broader understanding of that plan than I do. And it would be rather ostentatious of me to put it out there in the quantum field and infinity as I want this. I expect it to be this way. I'm more about my intention rather than the particular outcome, which is what that attachment thing is. And that can be really difficult because I want to keep my animals. I want to do this. And I have to be willing to let them go and know that if that's not working out, that was meant that they need to go. They're not meant to travel forward in that flow, because I'm not going to make that decision without knowing for certain. And I spoke to somebody yesterday about the possibility of moving some cats out and haven't heard a word. And I expect I won't, because it closed that chapter of Are You Willing? And it wasn't a test. It was a matter of how proficient are you in knowing that to get the job done, it may mean that you separate. And I still may have to do that. It's not that I've closed out forever. It's that it crushed the rest of whatever that fear timeline was, that fear paradigm. It finished that part of it out. It doesn't mean that I don't experience, the sadness or the fear of, oh, you mean that's not going to work? It means that it's less because it's been already dealt with down here, and just keep marching it forward everywhere that I know I can, and claiming every moment on the can. So with that, David Bowie and Labyrinth, and I'm just a worm. I can't wait. And to my friend from college, Belinda, I hope that you're well, and thank you. I've thought about you a lot over the years, and really hope that you've gone on to become a music educator like you meant to be, and that you've enjoyed everything about what you were doing. I think of you fondly, and those times that were some of the most precious and holy at a time when everything else was not. So I'm glad I had girlfriends and a reminder from divinity that says, yeah, that's not the only time that you'll have friends who care about you. And being in a dung pile, there weren't a lot of friends inside the dung pile with me. I wouldn't have wanted them to be there with me, because pretty ugly place to be, and they have their own dung piles, whoever they are, And now friendships can be based on something besides we connected at that energetic level of a poo pile. So there we go. And Leo is sharing some grooming with Ms. Anya, and that's just sweet, sweet, sweet. And Henry Doodles is stretched out, kind of ready for being disappointed probably whenever I push him out of the way. Kindly remind him that's where I belong when I ask him to move. So thank you again, and I hope that everyone is well, and that you are motoring through your day and having very good reasons to work and play, and know exactly when to do each, and that they aren't really all that different, that there's a sense of joy and fulfillment in everything you do, or at least an ever-increasing willingness to believe it's possible. Used to hate to do the litter boxes, man. Hated it. And, you got to do this. It's the only way they flush the toilet. What if it was changing a diaper? Just change my perception. Can't say that, it's my favorite job of the day. However, gets done every day now, instead of dragging my feet or wishing that I wasn't that responsible for, I shouldn't have to do. Well, you are. Which trade-off would you like to make? emptying the poo pile or emptying the cat collection that uses it, and get legit about your snit. And watching these two cats and saying, that's a beautiful thing, because mommy is very happy to return the favor. They're both blind, both deaf. She's albino, he's old. And he went gradually deaf and blind to the point that I didn't know. He went to the vet and she said, are you aware that he largely is blind and is deaf? And I said, no, I had no idea. And I realized that, oh, that's why he and Ms. Anya have been spending so much time together. She's showing him how to navigate his world as a blind and deaf cat. That's why I took him to the vet. I thought he was sick. He was fine. He was not understanding. Why am I not seeing? How am I going to cope? And she showed him, she's helped him to find his way. He has dementia, so he gets confused. And she's really helped him discover how to navigate with his abilities. Skip the disabled part. You know, you're not disability, your ability. What are they? And I'm blind and deaf, baby. I can show you how to do that. And she has. It's been a very beautiful, miraculous expression of genuine friendship and kinship and love between two cats that never really spent much time together, had no use for one another, until she gradually started engaging him and went into his life, his dung pile, and said, hey, psst, how about it? And I'm hauling him to the vet thinking he's sick because he was confused. Imagine that, blind, can't hear. And he's much happier now because I was able to witness that, learn and understand, get him to the vet, get the human, interpretation of that, and then be able to come back home and have divinity speak to me as, yeah, she's been helping him along with that. And it helps me to be kinder and gentler to him in my mind because he gets confused. He doesn't remember necessarily where the food is. He doesn't always see it. His smeller, you'd think that the smell would be still there. And I have to go through some, special preps to get him to eat. He's skinny, he's scrawny, and all right. However, Ms. Anya, she knows how to work that. She's a little white sorceress witch, and she knows, hey, why don't you watch me? I know how to take care of my family. So honors, honors, honors. Thank you very much. I could go on all day. And I'll turn off the camera and continue to go on with the praise of thank you, because I have a long, long list that's longer for all the things I'm grateful for, rather than the list of things that I wish this, but it just doesn't work for me to do it that way. It was a lot easier and a lot better once I got into that, flow of it and get over the hump of I'm not happy about it. And it still happens when two beetles show up and I just want to get rid of them. Hurry up, get rid of the mess. And I want to hurry divinity along and say, yeah, can I get the message in this? Just get this insect out of here. Yeah. So on that, 37 minutes, almost 38. Chatter, chatter, chatter. Don't be late, Kate. Go 88 and close it down. Thank you, friends. And good luck as you journey forward with however you do divinity. And may you be inspired to reach that space and really enjoy it. And really, really, really be available to your own divinity, who will be more than happy to speak to thee if you're willing to listen. Might be kind of spooky, might be kind of weird. However, I'd much rather be visited by a beetle and get a grander understanding and a higher perspective and have hawk, butterfly, etc. It's glorious, and I'm not going to turn that down after I've asked for help. If I call 911 and then I turn the ambulance down or the fire engine and say, I didn't want that color fire truck. Why didn't you bring the other one? And my house is burning to the ground. So I think I'll be grateful for what I have. Dung pile out.